welcome to Talk of Psychology, a podcast which is brought to you through the collaboration of Destiny Trainers and Bliss Oasis Africa, two counseling, mentorship, and life coaching outfits based in Nairobi. Welcome again. My name is Patrick Gugi. I'm the owner of Bliss Oasis Africa. And with me here is Ann Ndongo, founder of Destiny Trainers. Karibu Ann.
Asante. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here again. It's always a pleasure just to be in this platform to talk about different topics. And I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, viewers, this is our second podcast since we started in the last one, which we talked generally about psychology and counseling and many other issues that are of concern, particularly this day and age where so many people are in distress, in a lot of stress, a lot of things are happening every day. We listen to the news and the radio because of depression. And many people may not understand what is going on and this is the reason why these two organizations, Destiny Trainers and Bliss Oasis Africa, decided to come together and create this podcast so that we can try and shed light about the psychological situation and what you may know and what you may do if you are concerned, maybe personally or a relative or somebody in the society. And after roughly and generally introducing psychology and what it all means last week, we have decided now to take it further and discuss human development, because we all came from somewhere. We are growing. There are various stages of growth, and there have been various theories about this human development. And it starts from birth, because we have to understand ourselves and others according to their different stages of life, of development. And today we have decided to pick psychosexual stages of development, which were brought up by Sigmund Freud. He's called the father of psychology, or father of psychoanalysis. And he developed this stage, which we are going to discuss further, and so that we may understand ourselves and others. Briefly, Sigmund Freud was born in Austria in 1856 to 1939, and he is said to be father of psychoanalysis, because apparently he was the first one to delve into the human mind and bring this method which looks at or helps people in distress, in mental distress, and see how they can help. So Anne, maybe you can go deeper and give us briefly about the various stages, or explain further about what psychosexual stages of human development.
Okay, thank you again for the invite. When we talk about growth, it's important for people to know why people behave in certain ways, maybe in adult life. The formative years and childhood traumas affect us. According to Sigmund, all these things we are going to talk about today, they are traced back to childhood traumas involving maybe sexual abuse, any kind of trauma that one faced during childhood. So there's that trace. When you trace back during your childhood, you'll be able to point out a thing or two. Maybe that is why you are behaving in a certain way, and maybe you don't understand. So the formative years are very, very key. That's why we encourage parents to have a bit of basic knowledge about it, so that they know how to handle their children. Because when they are negotiating these stages, different things happen at every stage, because it's human growth. So at a certain age, there's something they are negotiating, and then maybe if they don't negotiate it in the right way, then there'll be a fixation.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what is a fixation?
A fixation is something that was not negotiated well. So there's a negative effect to that, because there's always something must be negotiated. So if they don't negotiate those stages well, then there'll be a fixation. You'll be fixating. Yes.
Yes, they're fixed there.
They're fixed.
Like they're reliving that part of their lives which they didn't live when they were supposed to live.
Yeah, so they live it maybe later in life. That's why you see all these things.
Yeah, before we go into the actual stages, I think fixation, we keep on seeing fixation in life, like seeing an elder, a very grown-up person behaving like a kid by doing things which only, a person of a younger age would have done.
Yes.
And perhaps they are behaving that because during the time they were supposed to have done that, they didn't do it.
Yes.
And I have an example where you can see a person in their 30s or in their 40s on a motorbike or even a vehicle, but it's too loud. The hosepipe is too loud, and it's on purpose so that it can attract attention. Maybe such a person did not get enough opportunity to behave like a teenager, where they would need a lot of attraction. I mean, they would need a lot of attention. Yeah, and so we talk about the stages, various stages which have to be negotiated, and at the same time you talked about critical formative years, and many people know it's between age 0 and 7. That's the very formative years. But before age 7, there are other stages which Freud talked about, and maybe we can discuss or mention each of the stages themselves, then talk about them individually. And because we are told that there's oral stage, and he that's why they are called psychosexual. So he gave them a physical or kind of sexual meaning. There is oral stage, which is 0 to 1 years, at the age of 0 to 1. Then there is anal stage, 1 to 3 years, phallic, 3 to 6 years, latency or latent stage, 6 to puberty, and then we have genital stage, which starts from puberty to adulthood.
Yes.
We could go one-on-one because right now there are so many parents. There are always many parents with children at that age, 0 to 1. So what are the stages? Does a child really have to negotiate a stage at that time because they're so young? Do they know or they are aware that there's a stage they need to negotiate, successfully?
So let's start. Maybe we could talk about the oral stage, which is the age between 0 to 1 years.
Yeah.
At this stage, the mouth is the center of pleasure. The mouth, at that time, you can see the child putting everything in the mouth. So it is the sucking phase, sucking. So fluids are taken. And then the second is the biting phase, linked to winning and eating. Winning, when you are winning a child,
Yes.
And then winning can be traumatic, especially if introduced abruptly. Winning is done gradually.
Yes.
So if you just win abruptly like that, without sensitivity to the emotional needs, then that child can be affected because it should be done gradually. So that winning, if done without that sensitivity to emotional needs, then there'll be a fixation. That's why we are talking about the fixation. So the fixation in this stage is the child tends to go for the bottle. Delayed weaning retains an intense attachment to the bottle or to the breast, because I've spoken about the mouth. Other forms of gratification, e.g., so the fixation comes with drinking. That's why you see people drinking or chewing. Any problem is the mouth. Chewing, because there's that, they didn't negotiate that well. So they have that the intense attachment to anything that is connected to the mouth. Drinking, chewing, some talk a lot, some gossip. So there's that fixation in that oral stage. So when parents are winning their children, they should do it gradually, not just abruptly, because there's that lack of sensitivity of the emotional needs of the child. That's why we get that fixation. Yes.
And when they are then weaned properly,
yes,
and then they are not fixated,
yes,
they grow. I mean, it's a theory, of course, but would you say then the people who don't chew gum, for example, or they don't have that urge to chew gum, they negotiated successfully? For those who don't
yes,
drink,
yes, yes.
does
And you
it
see
go
some people
automatically,
who
or
like
there's
just chewing, they like drinking, they like talking, some gossip. So it's
yeah?
because of that fixation. So it's good to understand people where they are coming from.
Okay, so somebody
Yeah.
who likes entertaining the mouth, whether he's talking, whether he's smoking, whether he's drinking, chewing pens when they are
Yes.
thinking, maybe absent-minded, but all this is unconscious because Sigmund said human beings are influenced by unconscious
Yes.
thoughts
The
or
unconscious.
urges.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so all these fixations are unconscious. They may not even aware of them outwardly.
Yeah. Of course, they're not aware. Most people are not aware, and even people around them, unless maybe someone has maybe studied psychology, then you'd know something where they are coming from. So
Okay.
those are the issues that you find. But it can be, if you feel like you can do that in a constructive way. You can chew those chewing gums that sugar free chewing gums, because when you chew, you also spoil your teeth, and
Oh, yeah.
there's drinking. So you can do it in a positive way, a way that is not destructive, because when you drink, of course, that's destructive. Chewing also can be destructive.
Okay.
So you can do it, but in a positive way. You can chew a sugar-free, and then because of that awareness, you can be intentional on how to correct that if it's destructive. Yes.
Okay. So once you know that, then you'll be able to see how you can, if you want to stop doing it.
Yes, that's why I'm talking about being intentional.
Intentionally.
Yes.
Yes. So that is as far as the oral stage is concerned.
Yes, the oral.
Yeah. So by year one, but then it's not fixed up to year one. There are some who could successfully negotiate before or slightly after 1 year.
So
It's not like, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't get your question again.
What I'm saying is the oral stage, we are told it's between birth and first year, 1 year.
Oral is 0 to 1 year. Yes,
but
that's
that is
birth one.
Yeah, but that's average. Somebody could still need to continue even at maybe 12, 16 months. Or is it on point? 12 months, you're out. You go to the next stage.
Between 0 to 1, and then those are natural. It's just a natural thing that happens. It's like growth. Growth is natural. So between 0.
So some could do it in 10 months.
Yes. 0 to 1. So and then from 1 year.
But the thing here is to win them gradually, not abruptly.
Not abruptly, so that for that sensitivity. When you are just winning a child, you just don't win. You win gradually because of that, the emotional needs.
Okay.
So if you win that, so there'll be a fixation if that is not done properly.
I'm a man, so I may not be really much, an expert on this, but sometimes they were
men should also be paternity leave.
That is why that is why we are doing this program, and that's why I want to learn. I wanted to ask. Sometimes a mother may be forced to wean abruptly because of pregnancy. Maybe she gets pregnant before the current baby is 1 year old, and so they have to stop the feeding. I mean the breastfeeding.
Yes, even that one can be done. You can do that gradually. Yeah, you can do that gradually because, of course, when you're pregnant, you can't breastfeed. But those are rare cases. Those are rare cases because those pregnancies, most of the time, they're not planned for. But in case of such a scenario, then you just gradually win that child. Yeah, in case of that, though it's rare. It's rare.
All right. So so we come after 1 year, we have the anal stage. So
Yes,
that
the
now
anal.
the child moves from the mouth to the anal area.
Yes, yes,
And that's their area of kind of attention. Can
yes.
we speak
That's
about
the
that?
yes. The anal stage is it happens between the year 1 to 3 years.
Yes.
No, 1 to 3 years. It's the second stage of a child's development, where now you start toilet training or potty training, as it's called, toilet training, potty training, or toilet training. This is where the child feels the pleasure to withhold or expel feces. Yeah? So there's those attitudes of cleanliness, order is fostered at this stage. Parents has and then the parent in this stage has a significant role in the child's life. A
Yes.
significant, sometimes when the child want to expel, so they withhold. You understand? Yeah, because now they develop fear whenever they
Yes.
want. Yeah, because that's the second stage, the development of toilet training starts. So the fixation in this retentive leads to overly possessive, tidy. So when you are fixated in this anal stage, you holding. And then there's that overly possessive, tidy, yeah. And then there's also that explosive leads it leads to untidy. You can be impulsive, untidy, and also generous, overly generous. You see, there's some people who overly being generous is not bad, but some people tend to
be too generous.
exaggerate. Yes, they are too generous, yeah, because there was a fixation in that anal stage. Yeah, so people who are fixated, they are either untidy, impulsive, and generous, overly generous. Yeah, so if it's not negotiated well.
So for example, there are people who are generally untidy.
Yes.
They can't help it. Maybe it's a guy who works in an office, in a desk. The desk is always cluttered. It's always
yes.
and the desks it's not really. Could that be the reason that this is happening? Maybe they didn't negotiate
Yes, they did negotiate,
well.
and it doesn't bother them. It doesn't bother them because they were fixated in that anal stage. Because the parents maybe were either when they want to expel or they want to. There's that because sometimes they feel like they are not supposed. It's a natural process. So if the parent is not aware of what they're doing to their child, then that fixation comes with that. Yeah. So they become impulsive and untidy and overly generous.
And this is the one who is not trained properly, or rather, she just let to express whenever and wherever.
Yes. And then so the approval and the praise of our parents plays a very significant role in the child. The approval and the praise. Significant, it plays a very significant role. So that approval, yes, and affirmation, all those things, they play a very significant role in that stage, the anal stage. Yeah.
Can you give an example? I mean, like how? I mean, what kind of? I mean, what kind of approval? When they don't, maybe they don't do it, carelessly. For example,
when you're toilet training, sometimes mistakes will happen here and there. So I'm just giving an example. If maybe the child you're training your child, potty training, yeah.
Yes.
So when you're training your child, you put the potty there, and sometimes maybe the child is expelling, or yes, and then maybe they expel on the floor. I'm just giving an example, and then you come and shout at that child. You see, so there's that fear. So
the retention comes in.
Yes. Now that is what I'm trying to explain. So that is now it won't be negotiated very well. So those fixations will come as a result of that. There's no affirmation, there's no praise from the parents. But most parents, they do it unconsciously. They just do that unconsciously. Yes, they know that it has a negative effect on the child later in life.
Yes. So the people who are overly neat, overly clean, those are the ones who are trained well, or those who are those who are kind of what do you call it, whose parents were harsh on them or criticize
Okay,
them?
so you know, everything should be in moderation. So
Yes.
I'm talking about overly possessive, even tidiness. There's a way you should be. So overly, it's overly
Mm.
done. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So
yes,
if you are either too clean,
yes.
too overly,
The
too clean
extreme.
and neat,
Yes,
or
yes,
careless and dirty, you did not negotiate
yes, yes.
this
You should
stage
overly
well.
untidy, overly.
Mm.
Yes, there's that extreme.
Okay.
Extreme either ways. Yes.
And that is according to Sigmund Freud,
Yes, according to Sigmund Freud.
the
He did a
theory
lot
of
of, there
psychosexual.
was a lot of research. And when you look at those things, they're actually true. They
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
because there was a scientific research was done.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, because if it wasn't true, this theory would not have lasted all these years.
Yeah, yes. Okay. Of course, there were some limitations even in the theory, and people
Mm.
came up with different things. Of course, there was some limitation in every theory. There's a limitation.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's why we have so many theories, because someone is trying to come up with something better. But
Something
when you look
or
at
to add
it
to that one.
practically, yes,
Mm.
yes.
Mm.
So when you look at the fixations, they are real. They are real.
Mm.
When
They
you
are real.
trace back to the childhood
Mm.
traumas, then
Mm.
you can point a figure or two.
Oh, I
They are so
see.
real. Yes, they are real.
Okay. Okay. Then we have the third one, which is
Yes.
phallic stage, and phallic stage
The
starts
phallic
at
stage.
age
Yes.
3 to 6.
Yes, it's the phallic stage is the third, is the that stage. It's between that age 3 to 6. In this stage,
Mm.
the child's interests become focused on the genital areas
Mm.
as a source of pleasure. Remember, we've
Mhm.
spoken about anal, now we are talking about the genital areas. And
Yes.
then we find like boys, they become more interested with their mothers.
Mm.
A condition known as Oedipus complex, where
Oedipus
the boy
complex.
is attracted to the
Mm.
mother.
Yes.
Yes, and the girls to
And
the
they're
father.
actually jealous, of their father.
They get jealous. Yes, they get jealous because there's a competitor there.
Mm.
The girls, they get they get some, the interest is more on the father.
On the
So
father.
the fixation in this stage results to difficulty in maintaining intimate relationships later in
Yes.
life. So
Yeah.
if you are fixated, you didn't negotiate that stage well. Later
Mm.
in life, you have difficulties in intimate relationships. You find that there are
Mm.
people who they can't, they can't keep intimate
They come.
relationships.
Yes.
Get this one, they did this one, they leave this one. It's because that
Mm.
there was a fixation. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they don't understand, why can't I keep an intimate relationship?
Mm.
Yeah, maybe some people marry 3 times, 4 times, divorcing, all those things because they were fixated.
Mm.
Yeah, that panic stage between 3 and 6 years.
And now, when, for example, my son,
Yes,
my growing son, is too attached to the mother, there are some parents, particularly men, who says, I mean, it's like, I mean, you should be. They want the boys to be with him or to follow them and to like them, and not the other side, so that they may think that you may become, in quote, sissy, if you want to be with your mom so much. And maybe that's because of lack of understanding.
yeah, it's because of they don't quite understand, but
Yeah.
when there's that awareness, then they are
Mm.
able to know it's a natural process. That's why it's
Mm.
just a natural psychological process that
Yes.
people do. And you see that, those fixations they come as a result of that, because the parent, maybe the father, as you put it, is not understanding. Why is this boy close to the father? You become a sissy. Hey, you are a
Yes.
man, you are
Yes.
the
That's
man, you
true.
are a man. Yes.
That's true. And vice versa with a girl who is growing
Mm.
up. I think it's called
Yes.
the Electra's
Electra complex, yes.
complex, where the girl
Yes.
is so much attached to the father.
The father,
And then
yes.
daughters at that time, they are so close to their dads. And the mother, if she's not aware of what's happening, she might also
She
wonder
gets jealous.
what's the problem. Yeah. Get jealous, yes.
Yes, yes. So it's because of just lack of that knowledge. But
Mm.
when people get to understand these things, then they
Yes.
just know this. This is a stage they are negotiating, and it's a natural process. And they
Yes.
let the children be. You
Eh,
just let that child.
They should let them enjoy you know.
Yes, the childhood at the stage, and let them build.
Yeah, and enjoy if the boy, let them
Please,
enjoy
let
the
them
company of the
build.
mother
Yes,
and so
yes.
on. Yeah, so that's quite interesting because I don't know whether, although we'll come up later in other programs, but as you said, some ladies or even some men end up marrying so many other women, marry, divorce, because perhaps maybe they did not negotiate this stage properly. Could that be because the father or the parent was stopping them from maybe the attraction to their mother and vice versa?
And then in our African taboo, there's those, you should not, those taboos also, culture has a way of influencing people on how they behave. So
Yeah.
sometimes you are a big girl now, you should not sit on your father's laps. You
Yes.
see, because of culture also. So all these things, lack
Yeah, and the
culture
girl,
has part of
yeah,
it,
and the
then
girl is
lack of
only 6
awareness.
years old.
Yes, the girl is just a baby, surely. And they're just they're in that stage. So let that girl be. Let that girl be. Yes.
Yeah, and I think that could be the reason why I'm saying ladies, but even that could happen to men. Why you see, if for example a father was a drunkard, the lady will eventually happen to fall in love with drunkards. Divorce, try to be very careful next time, but eventually she falls in love again with a drunkard, and it's a pattern continues. That could be the cause of that, a lack of negotiation of this
Intimate
period.
relationships. Yes, yeah. They're not able to keep those intimate relationships because of
Yeah.
that fixation. Yes.
Okay.
So you can be intentional, and so as I've said, if you are aware of this, you just get intentional. You can go for therapy. So those are the remedies of such
Okay.
fixations.
All right. All right. So viewers, it's so amazing how time flies because we are done almost 30 minutes and it's time to end up. And we have only covered three of the stages of psychosexual stages of Sigmund Freud, which is oral, anal, and phallic. We don't have time to continue with the next two, which is latency and genital. And they're also quite interesting and informative. And we will have to do that in the next episode. And for now, we are so thankful for you being with us up to this time. And we request you to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell so that whenever we have another episode, you will be notified. And also share the link so that many of our, members of community can learn what we are giving, what we are offering here. So, as I said earlier, this podcast is a collaboration between Bliss Oasis Africa and Destiny Trainers. And we do give counseling services, we give mentorship training, we give training also. This kind of stuff we are talking about here, we can give it structured in a training format. But I'd like to give this moment to Ann Dungo, the founder of Destiny Trainers, to tell us what services Destiny Trainers provides for people like you. So welcome, Ann.
So thank you. Destiny Trainers is a training company, and we have three arms of training. We have mentoring, we have coaching, and we have counseling. So in coaching, we just coach on different areas, like career development, where we just do a one-on-one coaching session, and then we guide you on what career according to the talents that you possess. And then in counseling, we do one-on-one counseling. We also do group work counseling, marriage, we do adolescent, all kinds of counseling, child therapy. We all offer all those services. And then we also do training. Right now, we want to introduce a basic counseling skills for everybody. not necessarily for counselors. Anybody who wants to just learn the things we are talking about, just basic counseling skills, so that you can manage yourself better, and manage crisis better. So, and also we want to introduce another training program, human growth and development. Those are short courses that maybe take 3 months. So everyone can do that, not necessarily counselors. So Destiny Trainers we do all that, and we can leave a contact where you can get in touch with us in regards to all those services that I've mentioned. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Anne. And on behalf of Bliss Oasis Africa, and I'm the founder of Bliss Oasis, we also do counseling services. We also do training. We also do mentorship. And that is why we came together with the Disney Trainers, so that we can put our heads together and be able to offer our services. But you can either go to Disney Trainers or come to Bliss Oasis for the specialized services that we normally give. There are some that we give individually and some we give in collaboration. Like, for example, this information giving through this podcast. So the links will be put in the comment section, and please do comment and give us a question, anything you want us to give you more. So thank you very much. Until we meet again in the next episode, it's all the best from myself, Patrick Gugi, and Anne Dungu. So all the best.
Yes. All the best, and thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you very much.